because we've done a review all the way up to Revelation 14. We'll also do a review into it, but with the main intention of where I believe we are in this. Now, I have not wanted it to be Mecca. If there was one thing I did not want to be Mecca. And you know why? Because if it's Mecca, we've still got a long time to go. That's what I was afraid of. Things just weren't going to play out. But the Lord has showed me what I was probably a little wrong. That a lot of the things that I thought had to happen in Mystery Babylon have already happened. And that's what this gentleman in his videos speaks about. And so the Lord has showed me. So I'm fully convinced. Now, if you've watched Joel Richardson, he'll say it's Islam, you know. And I think he'd even say it was Mecca. He's probably one of the first, if not the first, who claimed that Mystery Babylon is Mecca and is Islam. And I think he's right. So we're going to look at chapter 14. Now, in Revelation chapter 14...
Because I have a question.
Yes, please.
When you say Mecca or like Mystery Babylon, and in my head, I want to go to the Babylonian Empire, Syria, Nebuchadnezzar. So then, is that then the general area? Because my geography sometimes isn't so great. Like with
No. This is going to go over really good on the videos. No, I guess not, because it's up there. I had my my globe on one of my videos, and some guy in there says, "The guy's got a globe!" Ha 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 ha! He was obviously a flat earther, right? So I wanted to use my globe, but we're gonna look at a map, and because it is important how we tie in Saudi Arabia, Mecca, as Mystery Babylon, right? I mean, there's got to be a tie-in, but it's not, as you might think. It's not global. It's not location. So we're going to go.
So it's not, because I only just turned it. Nineveh. You're not talking about those people.
No. Well, that's where Babylon started, right? That's hence the reason why it's Mystery Babylon. So I have to find files. This can get really hard here because my files are getting really big.
Saudi Arabia is way down there.
Okay. So we're going to look at a map. And you can see this map here. You can see it pretty close up there. Okay, so here's Saudi Arabia. See Mecca over here? Right here? Okay, here's Iran. That's where Babylon was. Babylon was right in this area right here. Saudi Arabia is over here. Say there's Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Pakistan. This is all the Middle East. It's called the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
Then you got Egypt, Libya, Sudan. Okay, so this is where Islam started, and this is where most of all these nations are Islamic. And they would be Islamic in the same sense that America was Christian in the 60s. Everybody was a Christian, right? Even though you may not love the Lord with your whole heart, you were probably a Catholic or Roman or Catholic or Protestant or Baptist or something. So just because they're Islam, that doesn't mean they are a radical Islamist. Now, what is a radical Christian?
Those are from like
no.
from the.
I think you guys are radical Christians.
Oh.
So if we look at a radical Christian, that's someone that reads the book and then wants to do the book, right? So you say, well, this is God's word. Radical Christian, so I'm going to do God's word. So in the Muslims, a radical Muslim was going to do what? He's going to do the book.
Kill everybody.
He's going to follow the book, right? So they're just doing what the book says, the Quran. So a radical Christian, God follower, follows the Bible and tries to fulfill it. A radical Muslim, he trying to do what this book says. This book says all the things they do. It's got some places where there does appear to be conflict. One place it'll say, treat the people of the book, that's the Christians, the Jews, well. And then another place it says kill them. So, their God changes his mind, depending upon where he's written in the book. So not all the people in the Middle East who are Islamic are radicals. When we see a radical Islamist, what do we call them in the news today?
Brother. Jihad.
A jihadist, right?
Yeah.
Or a terrorist,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because that's what their book says. Go subjugate all the masses. And if they don't subjugate, kill them. That's Islam. Okay? So we call them now terrorists, or we would call them jihadists. But they're just being Muslims. They're following the book. Okay, so the religion of Islam, what's written in the Quran and written in their other holy books, is based solely upon the worship of their God called Allah. Now, when Islam started, Allah was one of many gods who were accepted in the Middle East. And we must realize all these gods are real living souls. Allah is a living soul. So these gods have inhabited the earth at different times in different ways, bringing people under submission. The first time that's recorded in the Bible is when God said that Noah was the only one who was right with him. And some will say, well, what God said was that his genes were pure. That's a stretch, but I guarantee his genes were pure. And that the rest of the earth, their genes have been modified, and they followed the gods that have fallen, little g gods, the spiritual beings, may call them angels, though angel means messenger. But these spiritual beings that fell, what did they do to God? They revolted against God and said, we want to be our own gods. Now, we're told about that's what Lucifer did, but all these gods did this. They said, we're going to be our own gods. Those became the gods of the world. And Satan demonstrated that, Lucifer, as a person, Lucifer, when he tempted Jesus. And he says, I have the right to all this. I'll give this whole earth to you, Jesus, if you just bow to me. Placing Jesus where? The Father, Satan, Jesus. See? And remember what we just learned in Hebrews 2. Jesus, it goes, Father, Jesus. Then the angels. But Satan was an angel, right? He says, Jesus, you're lower than me now. You're a man. But if you bow to me, I got all this. I'll give you the kingdom. You don't have to die to get this kingdom. Satan didn't know how he was going to get the kingdom. He just knew he owned it. He was the second one in charge at that time. And he said to Jesus, you bow to me, you submit to me, put yourself just under me, then I'll give you all this. Jesus, of course, didn't take that because he came to do the Father's will. So, the second time where it's recorded that happened is the Tower of Babel. Did you get him?
We hope.
Love those critters. Can we shut the door so the critters don't come in?
Well, they're just the little
Gnats?
but yeah, maybe.
Yeah. You're welcome to shut the door. And is it comfortable in here?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay, so the second time it happened, After the flood, we get the Tower of Babel. And we have a man named Nimrod. And Nimrod was the first man to fight against God. He stood up against God, and he wanted to be God as a man. Now, that man probably had one of those angels incarnated in him, because they have always seemed to be wanting to do that. Okay, that happened in Iran. That happened near Babylon, in Babel. So the religion of Babylon was, I am God, you are not, and the ultimate God that we bow to is Allah, not the Father. So when we say Mystery Babylon, it's got to have the characteristics, the traits of Babylon, yet it's a mystery. So what is just like what they did in Babylon? The best we can tell, that's Islam. What's written in Islam, that is the great harlot that proposes to be God and remember to be the Antichrist. Remember what John says, who is the Antichrist? And he did not define one person as Antichrist. He said, who is the Antichrist? He who
doesn't believe.
He who denies
Jesus,
the Son. Yeah. Who denies Yahweh and that he has a son. And then let's say, Allah that has no son. So here we have the replacement. Hence a prostitute, right? Who is the wife of Yahweh? Well, who is the spouse of Yahweh? That would be Israel. God set her apart. He said, you're going to be mine. So he's characterizing it like a spouse. But she left Yahweh. We see that in many other books. We can look at other books. We can look at what is one book that is written about that story in the nation of Israel leaving Yahweh.
Exodus.
And then coming back to Yahweh.
die.
Obadiah? Isn't it Obadiah? Amos? Obadiah? It's one of those books.
Hosea.
Whew. Thank you. Sorry about that. Hosea, right? That's about. So we can see this. So Babylon is considered a harlot. She is saying that she is the spouse of Jerusalem. She is the spouse of this world. So to be a mystery Babylon, you only have to have the characteristics of what Babylon was. And in this case, all of Islam is mystery Babylon. And mystery Babylon is going to rise up to destroy God's people. We've talked about that. That's Satan's goal, right? He's got two goals. Kill all the saints and take over the kingdom by placing spirits without bodies into all the rest of the people they can to inhabit the earth with Lucifer, with Satan, with the fallen people. So when Jesus comes back to put the world under submission, there won't be anybody here. And that's why it says that God shortened those days for whose benefit? For the elect. Not because the elect needed to be saved, because he promised the elect something. What did he promise the elect?
That we wouldn't go through the wrath.
No. What did he promise? You will be rulers and priests with me on this earth, right? He's coming back. He says, you're going to rule with me. He promised the elect that. So the only way he can have a kingdom is he must have some people still on this earth who have not worshipped Babylon and do not worship Yahweh.
Huh?
Because if they worshiped Yahweh, they were probably already killed. Okay, and we'll see that story somewhere else. So that's why he says, so for the sake of the elect, who he promised to rule and to be priests on this earth during the millennium, the 1,000 years, the seventh day, the 7,000th year frame from 6,000 after the sixth day to the seventh day, that they, for their sake, he has to cut the time short, or else there won't be any people who are non-committed to Mystery Babylon. Because Mystery Babylon is trying to bring everybody under its rule. And if you won't come under its rule, then you're to be killed. But God will shorten those days so that the elect, will have someone to rule. So in this case, Babylon is just the concept of the same thought patterns, the same behaviors, the same rebellion as in the days of Babylon. Okay, so you see Mecca right here. Now you all probably heard that Mystery Babylon is on 7 hills, right? The Bible says Mystery Babylon 7 hills. And they say, well, Rome's on 7 hills, so they say it's wrong. Well, do you know that Mecca is actually on 7 hills? And the scriptures also say it must be in the desert. And Mecca's in the desert. And anyway, that little video that I showed you, that 10-minute video, will take you through the prophecies that show why he believes Mecca in Saudi Arabia is the city of Babylon that is going to be destroyed. But Mystery Babylon is Islam in its entirety. Any questions on that? Okay, so let's look at some scriptures. So we'll start with Revelation 14 again. Now, here in this picture, Revelation 14, the first 5, sorry, I shoved that one out.
I do that too.
Mm-hmm. But I'm speaking. And I shouldn't do it while I'm speaking.